Welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Smarter Business Finance Podcast. I'm Kesley, Senior Rep here, and I am with Clem, the man, the myth, the legend, also a rep here. We're here to talk about some red flags.
Red flags.
Dating red flags?
Dating red flags. Are you still doing Tinder dates?
I can't do Tinder. There's too many felons, I find.
Ex-felons.
Ex-felons.
Deadbeat dads.
Deadbeat dads, they don't want to pay for their kids.
In bankruptcy.
Going through a bankruptcy, trying to live with me. You
Oh.
know, I can't. You know, these men are,
No,
can't have them living with me.
I can understand that.
It's a lot like commercial lenders. I think they're looking for those same red flags.
They don't like the same people.
They don't.
They don't.
No. Yeah. You know, I guess it's a concept of, hey, can I have 100,000?
Yeah,
you know,
100,000.
I didn't pay my buddy back.
Yeah.
But I'll pay you back.
Yeah.
Right?
The last car I had, the bank came and picked it up. But I need you to loan me money for a truck.
Oh, yeah. Qualifiable. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm not. No. But we'll get you a hoopty. We'll get you one at a high rate, high up front.
High
We'll
rate,
put you in it.
lots of money down.
Does the job.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
Commercial
always
lending.
a bank that will loan money to somebody that can fog a mirror. As long as they have enough cash down.
You're one of our top producers here. Okay. What are some real red flags? You've got a business owner calling in on the line. Clem, work your magic. I need to get into a sleeper. My rig is down. What are some red flags? What are some deal killers that you're going to see?
Two of the biggest black eyes that we can't get around generally is going to be previous auto loan charge-offs, also known as a repo, and past due child support or family support.
Kiss of death.
Kiss of death.
It's called the kiss of death.
Kiss of death.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Bankruptcies we can get around if they're old enough.
How old are we talking?
Couple years. You know, some banks want to see 5 to 7 years, but you do got some lenders that's okay if it's a couple years old, you know. But you can't be fresh out of a bankruptcy and think you're going to get a commercial loan. That dog ain't going to hunt.
What about felons, you know? What about?
Depends on what you did. Let's just be real, you know. Everybody got a past, okay?
And it's none of our business.
It's none of our business.
None of our business. We're not ones to judge.
We're not the ones to judge, okay? I should be the first to say that.
But the bank's the one with the coin, so they have to make the rules.
Exactly. Like if you got previous fraud or sex offenders.
Money laundering isn't a good look when you're looking to pick up some trailers.
Not a good look.
Not a good look for a business.
Theft. This could be a tough one. You know?
Little tough.
Yeah, especially if you're looking to go over the road, you know.
Right. Working at the ports too.
Yeah. The port cities can be very tempting.
Yes. Florida. The state of Florida can attest for that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Late payments on a car note. Let's talk about time in business. You've got a guy who's got plenty of time in business. He's taking great care of his credit. COVID hit. What goes first?
It got rough.
Credit cards, car payments, things like that. You know, the mortgage has to get paid because the mortgage has a hit. If the mortgage takes a hit, then, you know, a bank probably isn't going to want to give you any more skin to that game because the skin you have in the game is already defaulted.
Yeah. And that's another thing, like with the sleeper trucks, these banks, you know, they want to see those bank statements.
Bank statements.
And fellas, if you don't have money in the bank, start putting money in the bank because the bank does not go for that. My money's in a gun safe shit. They not listening to the money's in the shoe boxes and the mattress.
That mattress money.
No.
That mattress money means
nothing.
Nothing.
They want to see you got some working capital.
That's right. I've got a lot of clients who call in and say, I've got $500,000 in cash. I don't trust banks. I don't want to put my money in banks. Well, that, sir, is a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
You will have clients that'll send you photos of a bag full of cash. I really got the money. The bank's not going to accept it. At least keep money in the bank for 3 months and then apply for a loan.
90 days.
Yeah, the bank's going to ask for 3 months of bank statements. So if you got 3 months of bank statements and you got some money in the bank for the last 3 months, that's sufficient.
But if those 90 days bank statements have any NSFs, aka overdraft fees.
Yeah, bouncing checks and such. No, that's not going to work.
The underwriter is typically going to see that as another red flag.
Yep.
We can't trust you with your own funds. How can we trust you with ours?
That's correct. That's true. That's true.
It's a big red flag.
Huge red flag. Another big red flag is when you see loan companies. In other words, they done borrowed money to borrow money. MCA loans. MCA loans are bad.
Yeah, that's tough. You've got a note on your note.
I borrowed $20,000 to put $20,000 down. They are the worst. The rates through the roof. You got some lenders that will actually take payments out weekly. Some will even take payments out of their account daily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about Gambino crime family type shit. Yeah.
So
time in business.
Time in business.
What's a good time in business? What's a bad time in business?
There's no bad time in business. I mean, we commend everyone for starting a company, but a red flag, red flag for a company that just started. I've never paved any roads, right? I'm calling you, Clem, and I need a paver. I've never paved any roads. I've never been in the industry before, but I know a guy who's done it.
But you know a guy.
I know a guy.
And you got a company that's been around for what, 15 minutes?
15 and a half minutes,
yeah.
I'd say. Got it filed. We're ready to go. I've got a tax guy telling me we're going to do well, but I need a paver, no experience, but I've got 20% down.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough road to toe.
Why is that?
Because if you don't have any experience in the industry, it's damn near impossible to get the bank to loan you some money for your bright idea.
That's right. And that's what we call a
really tough
red flag.
Yeah.
It's a red flag.
Really tough to get a loan for something that you got. Now, if you had some experience in the industry, we got banks that'll give you
How much experience?
At least a few years.
Okay? Few years?
Yeah. So in other words, if you want to go into the trucking business and you tired of working for somebody else, you need to have at least a couple, 2-3 years under your belt as a truck driver at least. You can't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to start a trucking company, and you don't even know how to grab a gear. That's just not going to work.
Those trucks, they require a specific license to operate.
Yeah.
I do get quite a few clients without that CDL looking to purchase
have a
sleeper.
CDL. If you got a business that's been around for a while and you don't have a CDL, and you already established, we got programs for that.
They've got skin in the game. Yeah. They've already got trucks on their fleet.
Yeah, but if you're a dentist and you just got too much damn money in the bank and you decide you want to just start a trucking company?
No. Doesn't matter if you've got an 800 FICO or $2.6 million in an account. They don't care.
They don't.
They don't care.
This is the first industry I've ever been in where having excellent credit it really don't matter all that much.
It doesn't.
It helps, but it is certainly not the end all be all.
It really does. I tell all of my clients that the score is only a fraction of what these banks really care about.
Time in business supersedes personal credit in this game. You can have subpar credit, but if you got some years in business, banks will give you a shot.
Oh yeah.
But no time in business with excellent credit, banks are petrified of them. Petrified.
So far, we've got a list of red flags with felonies.
Felonies.
Lates on a mortgage.
Repossessions.
Recent repossessions, right? Within the last 3 years, you've got an auto loan charge off and you've got a business.
Past due family support. Those are red flags.
Overdraft charges.
Clean that up.
Keep it crispy.
Yeah.
Can't have crappy bank statements.
No.
How are you going to make payroll? Right?
Yeah.
You've got payroll coming out of that account now.
Yeah, where's the working capital at? Gotta have working capital.
No working capital.
Yeah. You can't be one breakdown from filing bankruptcy. That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Can't have all your credit cards maxed out.
Red flag.
Yeah. All your cards are maxed out. That ain't great.
What isn't a red flag? Going through a divorce. I always have the clients who start it. Well, I'm going through a divorce.
Yeah, well, you can have some, when you see a handful of derogatory accounts and they all within like 3 or 4 months of each other, we could put together a story for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Banks like stories.
They do.
Yeah. They like stories.
Story-based submissions.
That's right. And if banks like stories, I'm Walt Disney. Let's go.
Let's talk about some fraudulent bank statements. If you're thinking about fictitious bank statements, just don't.
Don't do it.
The banks will know. They will know.
We will know before it even get to the bank.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We'll laugh. We'll laugh at you first.
Yeah.
Then we got to inactivate your account.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to make sure everyone in the company also knows.
It's a funny thing about sleeper trucks because we can have a guy call up and want a $100,000 forklift. Banks won't ask for a bank statement because it's construction, it's a different industry, blah, blah, blah. But a $50,000 sleeper truck, they want the sun, moon, and stars.
That's right.
Yep. Bank statements.
Why do you think that they have such higher requirements on lending for that industry? Why are they looking for so many red flags?
It's like with any loan. It's called risk factors.
Yep.
You know, the higher the risk, the higher the rate, the higher the risk, the more scrutiny you're going to get. You know what I mean? So it's risk factors. Transportation is a higher risk than construction.
One of the highest risks in
You
lending.
know? Construction is a
miles.
higher risk than a doctor's office that want an MRI machine.
Right.
So it's just risk factors.
Bank is a business at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. They have to make their coin, and they need to
Yeah.
appropriate the risk as opposed to the income.
Mm-hmm.
What deal is worth it?
Yep. They look at default rates too. I mean, you know, trucks default a lot more often than a skid steer.
It was 70% default through COVID, right? 70% of haulers who had just gone into business defaulted
Mm-hmm.
through hardship.
Yep. Or took a payment plan. Right. Yep. But even pre-COVID, trucking just have a higher default rate than every other industry.
It's costly to
So
fix.
that's the reason why it's more scrutinized. That's why you don't need bank statements for a forklift, but you need bank statements for a sleeper truck.
Right.
Yeah. What about vocational stuff? What are you seeing with those?
My biggest red flags for vocational are the clients who don't have the industry experience. They know a guy in the area because infrastructure is huge. Anything locally based is huge. Small knit community. So everyone knows everyone. You've got a buddy who's making $70,000 a month and they want to draft everyone. So that's my biggest red flag I get from clients is it's a dream that they wake up with and they want to launch right into.
Yeah.
Without the experience, without the financials.
It's really high risk.
What do you see with vocational?
Well, with tow trucks, it can be tough because
Ooh,
tow trucks, a lot of these guys get paid under the table. So they got the experience, but
right.
it's hard to prove sometimes. You know, you got to kind of make them go back and dig up some old records to get the industry experience, you know?
Yeah, tow truck drivers are the mama don't know money kind of clientele.
There you go.
Yeah, no one knows about their money and they're going to
Mhm.
keep it a secret, but it
Yep.
doesn't help. Towing's high risk, very high risk.
Mm-hmm.
Towing as an industry is a red flag itself.
Yeah, because you actually going to take people cars.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
yeah.
don't do roadside assistance.
That's right.
Non-consent tows to all the tow truck drivers out there.
You got people lighting, jumping on the hood, flamethrowers. You're not taking my car.
Repos,
Repos. Oh,
private impounds.
so yeah.
Yeah, definitely tough to get those done sometimes. But vocational overall is a lot easier though than sleeper trucks.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
overall.
tenfold. I'd say much easier, depending upon the age.
Trucks are
I
staying
mean,
local.
Yeah, if you're looking at, a hot piece of garbage for $15,000 and it's an 82, with 62 million miles on it. Is it really that much easier to get into?
62
Or is
million
that
miles.
a red flag? I have a good red flag.
Okay.
I've got a good one. I'll put it to you this way.
Okay.
I've got $500 in my account
Okay.
and I need a skid steer.
Okay.
The skid steer is $250,000 because I need a brand new one. I've got some contracts coming up. Now the lender's going to look at me and think you've got champagne taste on a beer budget. You don't have the upfront, you don't have the skin in the game, and quite frankly, credit typically follows suit with that as well. Have you ever financed something comparable? A skid steer for $250,000, that's a mortgage. Are you a homeowner? Have you ever borrowed anything
Remotely close to that amount.
50%?
That's another red flag now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
Comparable debt.
Comparable debt.
Yeah.
You've never borrowed, you've got a secured credit card for $350, and
Yeah.
you're asking for a $65,000 commercial loan.
Yep.
An underwriter is going to see that as a red
Yeah.
flag.
In other words, it's like you never financed the Honda Civic, but you want to finance
Rolls Royce.
a Ferrari 360 Modena.
Where?
You never financed the Toyota. Yeah, but I can handle that.
Right.
I'm going to let the bank take that back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to get a $200,000 loan if you never had a $20,000 loan.
Right. That's a red flag.
Yeah. Got to have some payment history.
Payment history. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You've got auto loans. We've all, majority of us have financed a vehicle or leased a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Lenders want to see positive payment history.
Exactly.
Now, yes, they want to see the last 12 months. They want to see that you're in a fair position, especially if you're new to business, right? That's the only credit, that's the only street cred, if you will, that you can offer to
That's
them
right.
is your personal CBR, your personal background.
Mm-hmm.
But say you finance multiple vehicles, and on every single vehicle that you ever purchased, you've made at least 3 or 4 late payments for each one. Now that's habitual. That's a pattern.
Yeah.
And that's a
Also known as sloppy red flag.
red flag.
Yeah. Sloppy pay history. That'll definitely get you shot down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair, right? If I were to ask you for $5,000 note, I need $5,000. But you know, I'm behind on my car payment currently. Are you going to lend to me?
Credit reports
that?
always tell a story.
They
you
do.
know, and the best way to know what somebody's gonna do is what they did previously.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's just a way of life, you know. We
Credit
all know
doesn't
people
lie.
that you know what's about to happen next. You know. So you look at that credit report, you like, you can already see which way this is going.
Oh,
You know, ain't pay nobody on time. It's a good chance he ain't gonna probably not gonna pay the bank back on time.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, those are red flags. Definitely. Sloppy pay history.
Sloppy pay history is a
Yeah.
big one.
Well, that's where the time in business come in play at though. So good time in business, the bank kind of like accept a little bit more. They have a higher tolerance for it, you know?
Yeah, they have more flexibility with the people who have proven themselves within their industry.
Absolutely.
If you're generating income, you're profitable, your bank statements are healthy,
Mm-hmm.
you've got time in business, you've got equipment that's operating because banks see your equipment as an employee.
You got a much better shot at getting a loan.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Much less risky. That bank is going to make money off of you because you're not going to default. And
Exactly.
they want you to come back.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a viable candidate, they want you in their wheelhouse of borrowers. They want to
Exactly.
continue to lend to you. But if you can't prove your trust and you don't have skin in the game,
No previous commercial credit.
repossessions,
Yeah.
foreclosures,
Red flags.
big ones. Those big ones.
Big ones.
Got a flag like this. Oh, I have had a client who called me when they were filing bankruptcy. They were in the middle of bankruptcy, and then they let it slip. They let it slip. They weren't going to tell me.
Wow.
They weren't going to tell me, as if I weren't going to see.
Mm.
21 derogatory trade lines. Looking for a $75,000 loan.
Yeah. But you know, it's important for these clients to be honest. You know, we can help most people.
We can't
One
help
way or the other.
everybody, but
Can't help everybody. But one thing's for sure, for certain. If there's a way to get it done, we gonna get it done.
yes, we are.
Okay? We gonna get it done. We don't get paid by the hour. We get paid for moving money.
That's right.
Okay? So if there's a way to get it done, we gonna make it happen.
We're in the business of financing equipment.
That's right.
That's right. That's what we do.
Yeah. We gotta find a way to get it done. We're gonna get it done. We're talking about red flags, but sometimes there's a way to get around some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. And there's a way to get it done, we're gonna get it done.
What's a green flag? Give me some green flags for a
Green
lender.
flag, homeowner. Good payment history on installment loans.
Oh yeah, comparable debts.
Yeah.
Time in business,
Pull up the
always.
Secretary of State. Business been around since 2015.
Woo!
We north of 5 years. We cooking with gas.
Cooking with gas.
Sleeper truck, 3 months of bank statements. There's money in the bank.
2 on fleet.
Safer report, I see 3 trucks.
Whew,
Yeah.
I'm sweating. I'm
Yeah.
typing so quick. We're getting that submission
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I've had a client with an 800 FICO, and they sent me over statements and they pulled every penny out. They had 170 in overdraft charges.
Damn.
13 years time in business. Declined.
Yeah.
And why were they declined? One late payment on the mortgage and couldn't show banks.
Couldn't show banks.
Couldn't show banks. Yeah, I've certainly seen banks offer the approval and say it's contingent upon their bank statements. They'd like to see their financials the last 90 days, which is, it's not that steep of an ask.
No.
90 days to show what your business is producing or losing or what you have in reserves. You know, a bank doesn't want to take every dollar you have. They don't want to rob you.
Exactly. That's the reason why a lot of our lenders don't require money down.
Right. A lot of them don't.
Yeah, just a couple of payments and a doc fee. That's it.
That's right. We've got a couple that'll do zero down, just your doc fee.
Exactly.
Can't get away from the doc fee. Every bank charges it. It's essentially your processing fee. Just like when you go to buy that Honda Civic, you've got your admin fee and your doc fee.
Yeah, you're going to pay a doc fee.
Oh, yeah.
No way around that.
Paying for their time.
Yeah.
Paying for their paper.
Processing the paper, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, processing the loan costs.
That's right.
They're going to charge something.
What, I did a $120,000 rig with a $1,200 doc fee. That's all he had to come up with.
That's it.
$1,200 doc fee.
That's it.
Walked away. Payment 30 days out. Ready to go.
Previous commercial credit.
Nice. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Commercial credit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a green
I
flag.
financed a couple of trucks already and I paid them off.
Hey,
Love to hear that.
you know, a lot of people don't know that commercial credit is forever.
Yeah, I know.
Forever. It never goes away. I mean, you could have you write an auto loan off for a piece of equipment 8 years ago. You think it's going anywhere? That commercial credit it's showing.
It shows up someplace. Yeah.
Any hiccups on commercial lending, any hiccups on your PayNet, Dun & Bradstreet, at your Equifax Biz is a red flag.
Yeah, it is.
I've seen a lot of clients with substantial time in business, healthy reserves, healthy or personal credit, but the minute you look at their PayNet and they've got a charge off, whether it's 60 grand, 10 grand, typically that's the kiss of death.
It is. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes when we get a deal and I see everything is lining up perfectly, I'm
Perfect.
like, the only thing that could kill this is if you got a crappy PayNet report. You'd be like, good time in business, great credit, homeowner, slow down turbo. Let's see that PayNet report.
That's right. You know, I'd say that if I've got a client in front of me who's got 10, 15 years time in business and they don't have commercial credit, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Or
Absolutely.
they texting you and calling you and they got great credit. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet?
Whose social security did you steal?
Yeah.
Whose number are you using right now?
Something's not right. Why you keep worried?
Right.
You look good to me.
You look great.
Yeah. But if you worry, now you're making me worry. You know?
Yeah, there's no one more confident than a client with time in business and an 800 FICO. Not a soul.
No.
On this planet.
No. In other words, they're like, is it done yet? Let's go.
Right. I'm calling to get my loan. Just tell me your rate and we'll move on.
That's it. That's it. Yep.
That's a green flag to me.
It is. It's a good green flag.
Client who knows that they're qualifiable,
Yeah.
has done borrowing,
Previously.
absolutely, generates a healthy income, business is profitable.
Got equipment already. Finance equipment already.
Yep. So that's skin in the game.
Yeah. We just helping them grow.
The opportunity to get to do this podcast is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I think the coolest part about all of it and having real reps like us talk about these pain points and these different factors for clients who are really genuinely interested in lending and how to get into it, because it is tough. You know, we watch people struggle in it. I think that just the opportunity in doing this podcast and offering the information to clients is really awesome. And then our website, you know.
Your website's got a ton of information.
Yeah, Rob has really been juice in that website.
Yeah, so much information on that site. You don't even have to call and talk to nobody. You just go to our website and just learn.
Right. Section 179 articles.
Yeah. More podcasts than you can shake a stick at.
Right.
Talking about just different scenarios, whether it's trucking or construction or towing or.
From a real person.
Yeah.
Not someone trying to sell their company or sell their loans or who we are. Just a real person wanting to give the information.
Exactly.
Because we work for a company that wants to see everybody eat.
Exactly.
And I think that's pretty incredible that someone doesn't have to go and pay some guru to give them the answers. We'll give you all the answers in a two-day program, right? And we'll teach you how to get lending, and
that's right.
It's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Spend 20 minutes and
smarterfinanceusa.com.
That's right.
That's where it's at. It's been great, Hurricane Kesley.
It's been great.
Look forward to doing this again.
Same.
Yeah.
Nice chit chat.
We'll share some more information with the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. We'll give all our secrets.
Yeah.
Everything we know.
Yep.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming. We party over here.
Yeah, we have a good time.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. All right, until next time, Kesley.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you're listening through a podcast app, we would love it if you would be so kind as to leave a review. If you are watching this on YouTube, it would mean the world to us if you left a comment or gave us a big thumbs up. And lastly, if you're looking at us on the website, if you would let us know an episode that's of interest to you, that would be fantastic.